Good afternoon. Just wanted to begin by saying once again, just really proud of our football team and the way that they prepared and focused and finished on Saturday. I know that's a game that we're supposed to win, but I also have been here enough to know that has not always been the kind of focus and the kind of consistent execution throughout the game in those situations in the past. And so I really made a point of emphasis to be able to have consistent performance from our guys and really challenge them in that area, challenge our coaching staff, and was pleased with that part of it. So, you know, we did do some good things, did some things we need to work on, but you know, to be able to come out here and to play to the level that you're supposed to play at is what's important. And that to me was encouraging of us moving in a direction of continuing to grow as a program. Also, from the game, had some fine performances that we recognized, the defensive players of the game. Alan Stallings is a young man that we recognize for that award. Really thought his play was taken to another level. With Greg Gooch's situation, he was bumped up to being the starter, which was a great opportunity for him, and he responded and thought he played throughout the game from start to finish at the level that I want to see him play at. And with all the different things that they did offensively, it was good for him to see. And then Andre Brown, they were co-defensive players of the game. Andre, I thought, played really well throughout the game there at the end. The strip and then the defensive touchdown was just great technique. And even the tackle that he made prior to stripping the ball was textbook, and really proud of his toughness and effort throughout the game. So those were the two guys there. Offensive player of the game, Morgan Ellison. You all know what he did statistically, but you know, true freshman is playing the way after fall camp, the way he convinced me he could play, and he's proven that he's a young man that has a bright future if he stays hungry and humble and keeps working hard. Special teams player of the game is Jay-Sean Harris again, and really proud of his execution and the whole, we call it the score team. That's our punt return unit, and they've done that twice now. They've scored, so we want to continue to do a great job in that phase. As far as from a national perspective, Jay-Sean he's third nationally in returns, and is the Big Ten Special Teams Player of the Week again, and has become, you know, one of a few select members of our history that have had 2 punt returns for touchdowns, and only one other individual has done it back-to-back weeks. So big accomplishment for Jay-Sean and our entire special teams units. And it was with Morgan, he's fourth now nationally in rushing for true freshmen in the country, and but his offensive line and our offensive line were a big reason for that. He recognized that. So, but proud of him and his hard work so far, and want that to continue. So just kind of put the closing chapter on that game and be able to learn from it, grow from it, and get ready for our next opponent. Unfortunately, we did have quite a few injuries from the game, and it's part of the process is getting guys healthy. And we set some guys out, and not sure if they're going to be back yet or not next week. But Nate Hoff is the guy that's going to be questionable for this week. Marcelino Ball was injured as well. Not sure of his status. He had lower body injury. Juan Harris, another individual that was injured in that game and very doubtful for the immediate future. Keontae Walton, another one that went down and is going to be having surgery tomorrow. And it will not be season-ending, but he'll be out for a few weeks. And then Sean Riggins was also sidelined from the game and will be looking at his status as we move forward. Offensively, Simon did not play, and we'll see his status. I'm not sure about him at this point, neither Mike Majette about his status for this week or Donovan Hale. So we have a long list of guys. Richard Fant was one that didn't play either, and he's also on that list and not sure about his status. So, you know, but it's a tremendous challenge for our program. You know, you get to points in seasons when you want to be healthy. Sometimes you are, sometimes you're not. and other young men have to rise up and play to a level that you expect them to. What this team demands, what our conference demands, and it's part of it. You look across the country, and teams are dealing with the same thing, and you have to pony up, as we say. So our guys are very focused. Had a great practice yesterday. I love the spirit of our team and their mindset at this point. We have a tremendous challenge ahead of us going into Beaver Stadium there in the state of Pennsylvania against Penn State. So very excited about this opportunity to play, as is considered by many one of the best teams in the country. Some would say the best team in our conference right now, and they seem to be playing at that level. Many have said that their tailback is the best player in the country right now, and I don't see any reason to think otherwise. So the Muscular Dystrophy Foundation is represented by the Coach Association for this weekend's game, and we take a tremendous amount of pride in representing that foundation and raising money for a great, great cause. So we'll be wearing patches for that as coaches this week, and so our continued support for that organization is unwavering as an AFCA, which is the American Football Coaches Association. So on to Penn State. Just a ton of respect for their coaching staff and their program and what they've done. Going there, Coach Franklin's done a tremendous job in a tough situation initially and has recruited extremely well and has his team playing at a high level. When you look at all three phases, very impressive program, and probably the best combination of everything that you see in defending as far as run game, pass game, offense, defense, special teams, across the board, playing at a very high level. Impressive win at Iowa on Saturday night. I think we're all watching that game and just impressed to see how they finished. And so a lot of respect for them, a tremendous challenge for our program, and tremendous opportunity as well. So that's all I have to say. Questions?
Saturday, a bit of a get-right game for the running game. Do you feel like you saw enough from the running game to kind of carry over against Big Ten?
Well, it's wasn't a Big Ten opponent, so you can't say that it's equal for sure. But it's what you want to see. You go into the game saying, hey, we need to run the football, and wanted to establish that, and we did it. And so that's why I say, I was encouraged and excited about the game just because, I understand who we're playing, but at the same time, that hasn't always been the case. When you go into some of those games, I've been in a lot of places where you leave those games very frustrated because you didn't have the focus, you didn't have the execution that you want, in several different areas. And I was on edge with our guys about making sure the little things were not being overlooked. And so we wanted to run the football well. We did, and that definitely is a positive moving forward.
Tom, how would you say you're a better team now than you were when you played Ohio State?
I would say that when you play Ohio State, it's week number one. You have a lot of things that you think are a certain way, but you're not really sure. You have certain freshmen that haven't done certain things. We thought Morgan was a good player, and he's proven that he can be a very good running back at this level. You have questions about this position, that position. You think certain things are a way that they are, and now you feel different because you say, hey, you know what? I feel good about that. So I feel like that we're a football team now that has a much better understanding of who we are and where our strengths lie, where are things we got to continue to focus on. And I think that that gives you confidence as you move into conference play once again, as we've had a couple non-conference games. And so I just feel like that, even you take the game like at Virginia. We knew, I knew going in that they were a good football team. Well, when they went and played Boise State at Boise State, I believe it was Friday night, and looked the way that they looked at Boise, which is a very tough place to play, we kind of confirmed that we played a good football team and beat a good football team on the road. And so once again, so you know certain things now that you didn't know before about your team, and I think you have a different level of confidence. And we've gone on the road and we've played well, and we now expect to go on the road again and play well again. And we've had that first road trip under our belt, and we're ready to go attack it again. So that's where I think you get a different feel, as both the staff and as a team when you're getting ready for week 4.
A lot of coaches talk about sort of the response, I guess, from a freshman after he has a really good game. What do you need to see next from Morgan after a performance like Saturday?
Run like that against a Big Ten opponent, and I think that young men that have success have to learn how to handle success. You know, we talk a lot about staying humble and hungry. The edge that you have to get you where you are has to continue. And you have to find new things to motivate you and challenge you as you get put in a position of recognized for an award, getting pulled off after the game to do an interview with the Big Ten Network, all those kind of things. How do you handle that? Do you start to think it's all about you? Well, that conflicts with our core value of it's not about me. And so we got to keep those guys grounded and focused and locked in and allow him to continue to take the next step in production against better and better opponents.
After watching film, when you saw, Brandon Knight gets back into the mix, Mackenzie Nwara playing for Simon, what did you see on film from the offensive line?
Yeah, I thought that, executed well, and for a group that got a couple guys in there that were different than had been in there, thought that they gelled well. Was disappointed in the 4th and 1, us not getting that. The 3rd and 1 prior to that was a blown assignment, and then the 4th down and 1 was just running back's got to make a guy miss and get the first down, So, but I thought as a group, they did a very good job working together and being assignment sound and creating openings, and obviously Morgan and the rest of the running backs ran hard, but they have to have creases, and they gave them those openings.
No, I was just going to, it was a follow-up about Morgan. Rich said in post-game that early in camp, like before guys were in full pads, Morgan, I think the way Rich said it was Morgan was kind of running like he was in full pads, and some guys tried to sort of be like, don't push it too fast. I mean, what did he maybe look like through your eyes in those early practices? Did you see some of that?
I did. I mean, I would say after just a couple practices, right away, I made the comment to our staff, even because we're in there, as a defensive coach, I'm in there watching, the first part of camp, you're going against your own offense. You're not doing scouts at that point. So I'm seeing him run the football against our defense, even if it's not even going full yet. You could just tell that from his footwork, his lateral quickness, his burst was different than some others. And so definitely for a guy that just got here, And so made the comment pretty quickly, hey, this guy's got something to him, So you want to see him do it in full pads, then you want to see him do it in games, and you want to see him do it consistently. So, there's progressions to this. He has to, once again, goes back to, stay in the right mindset and keep working. But he's shown some good things, and that's what you want to see. Now you got to be able to say, okay, now let's do it now against, Penn State, because that's the most important game of the season. Why? Because it's the next game.
Alan Stallings was your MVP. What did he do that he hadn't been doing in the past?
I think sometimes it's just cutting it loose. It's confidence. It's how you practice. Sometimes when you're the backup, and you're not old enough and mature enough to be locked in all the time, that's kind of how you perform. You're kind of up and down. So he wasn't consistent and didn't practice at a level. And I challenged him, and my challenge was spirited because I knew he was the guy, and he had to be the guy, and he needed to elevate, and he responded. And I'm going to give Greg Gooch a lot of credit, too, because he's not only been a great leader for us, and I've mentioned it a couple other times, but he really has been a great mentor to Alan and helping him practice different. And I think, and because Greg knew he wasn't going to be in there the first half, he really took it personal to make sure Alan was ready. And so he played more consistent. He gave better effort all the time, and he finished the game. When we played a lot of snaps, it was hot, as we all experienced, and he was still playing with that same burst. He got that sack at the end because of tremendous effort and just want to, which is really a big part of sacking a quarterback, mixed in with some good technique. So I just thought he raised his preparation level, his performance level, and his effort, and that's what we saw different in production.
About it at different points, but it's kind of the second consecutive week where special teams seem to have a really big impact, whether it's long field goals, the punt returns, maybe even Hayden's punting. Just what do you think are the keys to the steps forward that you've taken in kind of all phases of special teams from last year to this year?
Well, first of all, and it's not that it wasn't important in the past, but it had to become a bigger priority. And in terms of we spend more practice time on it than we have in the past. We spend more media time on it than we have in the past. We've assigned, Jeff McInerney is in charge of special teams. He's an off-the-field role, but he organizes all of them, organizes all the drills, all the scheme, And we have 4 coaches that coach each unit of the big 4. You know, Coach Inge does the kickoff cover unit, which we call the hammer team. And Coach Shelby does the punt return unit, which is our score team. And Coach Hart has our kickoff return unit, which we call our house call unit. And then our punt team, which we call Crimson Watch, is Coach Joseph. And so those are the big 4. And so those coaches all have that ownership. I want ownership. I want those guys to feel it and personalize it. And then we have other coaches assigned to help them with each one of those special teams. And so Coach Hagan does our PAT field goal blocks, and Coach Hiller does our PAT field goals. And so, but Coach McInerney oversees all that. He can't coach on the field, but he instructs and coaches the coaches and gets the scheme organized. So it's a whole organizational structure that's different. And so to me, you get what you emphasize. And I know how critical special teams are. I believe in it, and I know that you have got to invest in them. And we've always worked on them, but I just knew we needed to elevate the awareness, sense of urgency, and how we're going to execute what we do. Changed some schemes up on some of them. Actually, most of them we've changed some schemes up, but just that has to continue. That's got to be, you know, it's a third of the game in importance and in value and in opportunities for impact. And we say this, every phase of the game has what we call them our method. How are we going to get this done on the field? And for special teams, there's 3 axioms that we have embraced, and our kids repeat them every single day before we start the meeting. That is, we're going to provide the winning edge. Be at your best when it counts the most, and create game-changing plays. Those are the 3 cornerstones of special teams. And our guys have that memorized, and it's in front of them all the time. Provide the winning edge. And to me, that's what has to happen. When I'm a specialist, I may get 5 kicks a game. Well, I got to be at my best when it counts the most. Those 5 opportunities. I may get 3 punts to return or 4 kick, whatever, however many it goes. Not a lot of opportunities sometimes, but the importance is critical. And then creating game-changing plays. We've seen those. The big punts that flip the field, the long field goals that change momentum, the punt returns for touchdowns that just, you know, are huge in a game. So those are the things that we have done into special teams that I believe, has created a different product, and it's got to continue.
Where do you think your defense is at right now in relation to the fact that you wanted to become a top 25 defense this year? At this point in the season, are you feeling good about the defensive progress or not?
I will say this. Statistically, the first game really set us back, you know, makes it tough, you know, because of we didn't finish that game and gave up some big numbers, and so that hurts. But at the same time, I feel like how we've been executing, I don't think it's been consistent with both groups. I think our first group has played to that level a lot of the time. I think even when you look at the Virginia game, you realized, you know, there's some things that they were doing that kind of frustrated us a little bit because they were kind of dinking us, but we did not give one explosive play that game, which is a big reason why we kind of got after them a little bit. They got some yards, but they didn't get points. And so in today's game, it's about scoring. You know, with the last 2 games in a row, we've held them to 17 points. And that's our goal, 17 or less. That's hard to do in today's game. Obviously, the first game number was big, so it kind of offsets the average. But so you got to kind of see it big picture-wise. So I feel like that we're doing a lot of really good things. I don't think our depth is what it needs to be yet. And are those 2s playing at the level of the 1s? No. And that's what we got to get to. And so that, to me, is the continue to get better with our first group and bring along the young guys. That's why you get guys injured, and some guys are going to play this week, some guys are not, that we have had play in the past. But at the same time, those 2's got to step up. It's part of the season. You play 12 games. You got to be able to do that. So I do think we're making progress. We're a lot better defense. May not be on paper than we were a year ago at this time. There's no question. I don't think it's even close. But we played a different schedule, too. You know, we didn't open the season last year against Ohio State. You know, it was Florida International. And we were losing that game in the 4th quarter. And so, you know, that to me is where you got to understand where you're going. And we're now in conference play, and we got to just keep getting better.
When you go against Barkley and McSorley, you know, 2 as formidable 1-2 punch as there is, and without revealing any secrets, but how do you approach that?
You know, they are, and those are 2. There's not a quarterback tailback combination in the country right now that's playing at a higher level. You know, they're doing a great job, and they're dangerous, and they're confident, And, he's making runs that are impressive. And he can catch the ball out of the backfield, and the quarterback's just, man, McSorley is just special. He is, and he's just got that moxie that you want in a quarterback, and that core confidence and that belief. And so, to me, it's we're not going to give anything away, but at the same time, the logical thing is you got to find out what they do really well, and you got to find a way to take it away. You got to make them beat you with things that are not their strength, and if they can beat you with the things that are not their strength, then they're probably just better than you, and so, but we have got to put together, and we're in the process of putting together a great plan for our team in all three phases. Coaches are working on that as we speak, and that's our responsibility, and it's our players' responsibility to play, execute that scheme with fanatical effort. So it's a tremendous challenge because they're so spread. They're going to get a lot of snaps. They're 50 snaps a half pretty much every game, and they're able to go at a good tempo and get the calls that they want per not huddling and just seeing everything, and they can stretch you vertically, and they can stretch you horizontally, and anytime you got a back like him, you got to gang tackle that guy now. I mean, you got to get as many hats to the ball as you can, but that's a challenge because they're spreading you out, so which is the beauty of this style of offense, So tremendous challenge, and they're hard to stop. You got to slow them down and make them earn everything, and somehow, some way, make them kick field goals. That, to me, is what you try to do.
How important is it to have hit that 17 or less goal twice in a row now, heading into a tough matchup like this?
Very important. Very important. And even that being said, I feel like in both games, man, we should have held them both to 10. And I think about the flow of the game and how things happened, but we didn't. But even that goal of 17 is hard to get to for sure. So I just think it's once again, that's our edge, is our mindset, is our confidence, is the hunger that we have as a defense, the hunger that we have as a football team. And so we have so much pride in what we do as a unit on that side of the football that we want to be able to keep people out of the end zone. And doing that these last couple of weeks has been big.